All right, welcome back, everybody. It is November 13th, 2022, the first ever NFL game in Germany to start this day. And what a fitting day to have the first ever game in Germany. And what a day for Tom Brady to get to 5-5 for the season with his team that he made the debut, winning Super Bowl 55. And choreographed as ever, he hugs number 55 right after the game. And to me, this was one of the best games of the day because how was he not going to get to 5-5? And I wish I had known what I now know, thanks to the person who posted from Germany, who's aware of the knowledge. But yeah, you guys, the NFL, it is undeniably rigged and scripted. And again, you learn this little simple code of letters and numbers that's important to secret societies. Again, a lot of people overlook that all of the American sports, American football, baseball, basketball, they're all credited to Freemasons. And again, Manly P. Hall, in his book from 1926, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, he reveals the numerical code behind the English language. I've been teaching about it for nearly a decade. I've been showing how it applies to sports for all this time. And just day after day, it adds up more and more. And it's a beautiful thing to see other people learning the knowledge, applying the knowledge, taking it to the next level. There was a game today I was iffy on. Shout out to Rod. Rod felt really confident about the Titans today. I didn't like that game so much. Rod felt like it was in the bank for sure, and it came through for him. And he's taken the work and expanded on it with the astrology piece by listening to, what Rambo's been showing over the years. And, Itachi just hit another nice prop bet. He had the right first touchdown, right player to score the first touchdown of the game in the Cowboys-Packers game. Itachi took the Bills, or not the Bills, excuse me. He took the Vikings when they were down 27-10 at plus 1,000. That means you had to bet $10 to win 100. And he was filling the comeback, nailed it. And you got to laugh, 63 points in that Vikings-Bills game. 63 points. It's the Bills' 63rd season. They fall to 6-3, and it's 63 days from the anniversary of the Minnesota Miracle game with Case Keenum and Diggs, who now play on the Bills, who go down to the Vikings today. But again, you guys, I mean, there's no argument. And you know what? If you think there is an argument, I'm even going to open up the phone line in this stream, not just yet, but if you think there's an argument that the NFL is not rigged and all this stuff's just a coincidence every single day, and understand, it's not just the NFL, right? It's the NBA. I get up early for my people this morning. I put this out 3 hours before the game. Thunder got a lot of value today. If Thunder beat the Knicks, both teams are 6-7. And looking ahead, it looks like the Thunder got this game. Nice payout on the Thunder. What's Knicks equal in Gematria? 67. Both teams are 6-7 after the game. From the NFL to the NBA to the MLB to the NHL to college sports, it's all the same. You learn this letter and number code. You see through the rituals. And, knowing numbers and number relationships is so important. It's week 10. So you look at the numbers connected to 10. 100 has a square root of 10. 55 is the 10th triangular number and the 10th Fibonacci number. 29 is the 10th prime number. 10 is the 4th triangular number. The Panthers, who we like this week. Again, the Panthers got their 115th home win as a franchise, defeating Atlanta the night before the new Black Panther movie comes out. And they get their 115th home win 115 weeks after the death of Chadwick Boseman. And again, the new film is about the Wakandians beating the Atlanteans as the Panthers beat Atlanta when the majority of the film was filmed in Atlanta. And I've been showing you for years, sports, the rest of the world of entertainment, politics, it's all rigged and scripted by the same people, the Pinocchio types who own all these things, who you can't talk about. But it's so obvious they own all these things because they're the owner of all these things. And again, what made me look into this knowledge in the first place? The fact that comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. I mean, it's just called having a little bit of common sense and logic. It's like, oh, well, I see who's running the show. Let me see if I can learn a few things that they're into. Oh, wow, this thing they're into seems to line up really well with what I'm looking at day after day. And again, like I'm telling you guys, why are you investing your energy in rigged sports? Why are you investing your energy in rigged politics? The Democrats pick up their 50th seat and secure the whole of the Senate And who wins? The woman on her 229th day of her age, the 50th prime number. Have I seen that pattern in the NFL before? 229, the 50th prime? Remember, in week 3 of the NFL season, I told my community to put a future in for Chiefs 49ers for Super Bowl 54, which was the 50th of the modern era because of the massive 229-50 ritual that they did on September 22nd. Go back and look. The 49ers got their 229th regular season home win, defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers. We already knew the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl before the season began. We were looking for the NFC team, and I did have like 4 different Super Bowl scenarios, but hey, had you put in all the futures I said, you came out way ahead. And again, I still remember, San Francisco equals 50, Pittsburgh equals 50, Chiefs equal 50. So San Francisco and Chiefs made a lot of sense to meet in Super Bowl 54, the 50th of the modern era. Not to mention Joe Montana equals 54, and he played for the Chiefs and Niners, and he wore 19 for the Chiefs like they won the 2019 season. But the point is, from sports to politics, it's all rigged the same way. On 22/9, the Niners got their 229th home regular season win over another 50 city. And again, San Francisco equals 50, used to be 5-0 in Super Bowls. They hosted Super Bowl 50. Anyway, knowing numbers, knowing prime number relationships, that's part of it. And knowing the code of letters behind the numbers is the other part of it. So, you know, the Dolphins did get their 4th straight win today. So the Panthers got their 4th straight win at home over the Falcons. The Colts, it remains to be seen. I'm iffy on that Colts game, so be careful. If you're not on the Patreon, again, make sure you're subscribed and you're getting all the information. I charge $5 a month, which is pretty much free for how awesome the information is. That works out to 15 cents a day. The Texans can lose their 4th straight. They did do that. The Seahawks' 4-game winning streak did end, and the Bucks got their 4th win at home versus the Seahawks. The Chiefs also won their 4th straight home versus the Jaguars. I know last week I told you guys that Jacksonville Jaguars equals 66. If you watched that game today, you saw that they showed that Andy Reid tied Marty Schottenheimer with his 66th win in Arrowhead Stadium. R.I.P. to Marty Schottenheimer, who died right after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. So did Rush Limbaugh, who began his career calling sports games in Kansas City. Don't forget how they do it. But, you know, Jacksonville Jaguars 66. Remember, the NFL, big number with the NFL. 66 is the 11th triangular number. Not to mention, today had 66 date numerology, and it's the 317th day of the year, the 66th prime. Let's not forget what happened to Andy Reid's son, too. That weird death story. But the first NFL Super Bowl season, the 66th season. Same year the Black Panthers were established. Don't forget how USA Today wrote their article about me in 2016 for nailing the Super Bowl. Both teams, the MVP, the halftime show, all in October, from understanding how it's all scripted together. History, sports, news, entertainment. The Saints did not get their 4th straight win versus the Steelers. The Packers and Cowboys game, it remains to be seen. And understand, I mean, when you look at all these things, you know that not all of them are going to happen. But you still want to look at lists like this because usually the majority will happen. So in terms of the majority, we like the Panthers. They got it done. We like the Dolphins today. They got it done. I rated the Colts-Raiders game as iffy. We liked the Giants over the Texans today. They got it done. We liked the Bucks over the Seahawks. They got it done. Saints-Steelers I rated as iffy too. So again, you're looking at things, but you're weighing the scales because there are other things to look at. There's a lot of criteria we go through in each game, but realize the majority of that list already came through. Okay, so here's what I got to point out to you. Brady becomes 5-5 in Germany, and realize the first quarterback to win in 4 different countries, right? He does it in week 10. 10, the 4th triangular number. He's won in England, Mexico, Germany, and of course, the United States of America. But what I did not know about before this game, which would have made me even more confident in it, in Germany, they have a national holiday today. And it's a German word, so I can't pronounce it right. We'll just say, you know, I'm part of the deliberate dumbing down of America. Something close to Volkswagen. Volkswagen, or however you say it. But anyhow, look at the gematria of that word. Look at the gematria of the word. 55, and that's what we call the most pure cipher, just as Manly P. Hall teaches it in his book from 1926, which is nearly 100 years old now. Exactly what he wrote for his audience in 1926. Learn this code and see what it reveals. On this day in Germany, what we can call 55 day, Brady gets to 5-5. And notice, the Seahawks go down with 16 points. Why does that matter? Remember, GOAT equals 16. Remember when he became the GOAT by winning his 6th championship to tie Jordan, there were only 16 points in that game. It was Super Bowl 53, the 16th prime number. Not to mention we had that Super Bowl dead on before the season began, and that year we helped a gentleman make over $300,000 on a parlay with the World Series and the Super Bowl. Again, I said Boston would beat LA in the World Series 4-1, and then Brady at age 41 would win with the Boston Patriots, they call them New England, but it's still Boston, over the LA Rams. And we saw that if Boston won the World Series 4-1, when Super Bowl equals 41, and Brady was 41 years old that year, and LA equals 41, and we all know what happened to Kobe in LA at age 41. But we saw that from the day of Game 5 to the Super Bowl was 99 days, and that was the 99th NFL season, and New England equals 99. Again, it's all rigged and scripted. Look what they just did with the World Series this year in Houston on the anniversary of the Astro World tragedy. So anyway, again, we go through all this criteria. We look at all these numbers. And, you know, the numbers looked better for the Bucs. And again, it was just the 55 thing that was screaming to me. I wrote, Tom Brady won Super Bowl 55 with the Buccaneers, and this week he can improve his team to 5-5 in Week 10. Again, 55 is the 10th triangular number and the 10th Fibonacci number. Means if you add 1 through 10, it equals 55. The Fibonacci sequence is like this. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55. And then all you do is you add the last two numbers in the sequence to get the next number. So the next number would be 89, and then the next number would be 144, and then 233, and then 377. You just keep adding the last two numbers to get the next number. That's what the Fibonacci sequence is. But again, making Bucs number one in the NFC South, and realize all the first games of this week were the NFC South, right? Thursday Night Football was all NFC South, so all part of this big ritual. And I wrote, that's what I suspect happens. I also like that Geno Smith can get his 25th loss and 15th away loss. Tampa Bay equals 25, Tampa equals 15 in the most pure cipher. Same one where, you know, this thing equals 55. That's what we call the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order of the rules numerology. And I also like that the Seahawks 4-game winning streak can end, and the Bucs can get their 4th straight over the Seahawks. The biggest concern is the Seahawks can get to 7-3. Tampa, Florida equals 73, and Brady is 7-3 in Super Bowls. Keep in mind, both these teams are in their 47th season. And what's interesting is Tampa Bay equals 47, and Seattle's on the 47th parallel. Remember Russell Wilson. He came in with his first game with the Broncos and stayed on 47 road wins for his career, losing to the Seahawks to open the year. And by the way, Geno Smith equals 47 in the most pure cipher, who's their starter this year. But I said both teams are in their 47th season, the 15th prime, reminding how that 15 can play against Geno Smith. Okay? So again, I always look at it from both sides, and if there's something that concerns me, I'll write that. But again, totally suspect Brady gets to 5-5. Seems like a no-brainer type of thing. Boom. Now, the Vikings and Bills game, you know, they built this narrative, right, that Allen's banged up, he's a game-time decision. Even early this morning, at first, they said he's probably not going to play. Then they said he is going to play. So they created this narrative that maybe the Bills aren't 100%. You know, the team is pretty much Josh Allen. And this is a real interesting narrative this year. Remember, this year's all about the Queen. Buffalo's the Queen City. The Vikings wear purple like royalty. Royal equals 71. They come in 7-1. Queen equals 62. The Bills are 6-2. It's Buffalo's 63rd season. Buffalo equals 63. Remember, I went out to Buffalo this year after the store shooting, showing how it was synced up with the NFL season, educated the people in the community, got a lot of hugs, a lot of people who were super grateful. And what was funny is one guy who tried to interrupt me, though, is a supposed connected victim to the Charleston church shooting, which was a massive psyop. He was out there too. If you guys missed my live stream with him, you saw that he didn't seem too genuine. But anyway, they reopened the store 63 days from the shooting. It was 62 days after the shooting, or a total span of 63 days. From the day of the shooting to the reopening of the store, 63 days. This is the Bills' 63rd season. Again, Kathy Hochul from Buffalo was 63 at the time of the shooting. Byron Brown, the mayor, was 63 at the time of the shooting. The Bills fall to 6-3. 63 points scored in the game. Today's 63 days from the anniversary of the Minnesota Miracle. Again, you got Diggs and Keenum now on the Bills, and they were talking like Keenum was going to start the game. Had he started the game, it would have been easy to call the Vikings to win. It was harder to call with Josh Allen in there. But anyhow, what I wrote for this game is keep an eye on if Allen plays. The biggest concern for the Bills is Vikings have a chance to get to 8-1. Bills does equal 81, but they can also fall to 7-2, and Buffalo Bills equals 72, as does Highmark Stadium where they play. If Allen is out, it increases the odds that Buffalo can fall to 6-3 in their 63rd season. Buffalo 63. Because if Keenum is in, he can pick up his 37th loss. Vikings equals 37. Of course, Keenum and Diggs both used to play for the Vikings. So that's what ended up happening. And again, I mean, just what was the point of the Bills not kicking the field goal, right? They had an easy chip shot field goal on a 4th and 2. They decided to go for it and threw an interception, but it's just like what, for what reason would you do that? You could kind of feel that because if you didn't watch this game, the Bills were up 27-10. And then they just let the Vikings, Cook had I don't know you can go back and look, but it's close to an 80-yard touchdown. It was a quick drive. He hit the gap, and Delvin Cook is a really fast guy. But, in an instant, it was 27-17. And I think it was that next drive, if I'm not mistaken, that the Bills went down the field. They got close, and it was 4th and 2. It's like, just kick a field goal and go up 30-17, Well, why even try to go for it on 4th down and get stopped and then give the Vikings some more momentum? Like, why would you do that? You put 3 points back up on the board, 13-point lead. It's the 4th quarter, midway through. That's a pretty comfortable lead. I mean, you are the Bills. You got a good defense. You got an offense. But to go for it and throw an interception, that's when, and that's why, the Itachis of the world are like, I'm getting in on this. 10-1 odds on the comeback. I'm doing it. And that's why you can just see the games don't make any sense. I mean, here, what's Sean McDermott's salary? Let's check out Sean McDermott's salary real quick. Sean, I almost want to talk about his name, Gematria. He's Mr. 201, so is the owner. Yeah, Sean McDermott makes $8 million per year. $8 million to coach football? And I mean, it's not a hard decision. And you look at all throughout the league, these guys are getting paid like this, and you just see the most boneheaded decisions that don't make any sense. Someone's like, oh, we were just trying to really put it away. You already had the game in your pocket, man. Kick the field goal, play defense, Anyway. And this is just shitting on the home crowd, right? And Buffalo's a city they love to shit on. Buffalo's the same city that lost 4 straight Super Bowls. And realize that whole city fell apart when they took the football team out of Buffalo and moved it to Orchard Park. Okay, so Lions and Bears, wasn't crazy about this game. I did see the Lions had the better narrative, but again, I pretty much almost always fade Lions games. But, just so you can see what I wrote, I said close call, it's a battle of the losers, and the numbers could fall either way. Bears can get to 3-7. Chicago and Detroit equal 37 in the most pure, or 4-6. Chicago does have the 46, but notice, the overlap with both cities was 3-7, Detroit and Chicago. And I wrote, but Lions do have a chance to upset and get to 3-6 because Bears equals 36. The greater value is with the Lions upset, but Goff can fall to 0-9-1 away with the Lions, which is also true, and Chicago Bears is 91. I said if you play this game, I'd be sure to hedge, and if the Bears do prevail, they very likely lose the next 2 at the same time. If the Lions lose, they likely lose the next 2 road games after that. So anyhow, I don't count this game as a win or a loss, but honestly, if you were going to play it in a pick'em, there's more information there to take the Lions than the Bears. So, anyhow, Broncos and Titans. Also wasn't really feeling this game, but Rod was. And I'll tell you what, Rod does something different than I do. By the way, I'll promote Rod and Victor, and I don't know if Martin's still doing it anymore. I don't know what happened to Martin. But Martin was a great guy too. But anyhow, things come up in life. But shout out to Jeremy White who built this website. It's GematriaEffectSports.com. You would think it was my website, but shout out to Jeremy White. He built it. Jeremy White's been with us since 2016. He won a whole lot of money off my Super Bowl 50 prediction in October. He's been loyal to the cause. He's pounded pavement with me in New Orleans, Dallas, New York City. Built this website. And Jeremy White's sports betting guide is also on here for people who want to learn how to sports bet. Support Jeremy White, his website. But Jeremy called him Big Game Rod on here. What Rod likes to do is look at the cycle of the moon that the games are on. And that might sound really arbitrary to you, the cycle of the moon. But this has become his bread and butter. And he saw that the Titans should win this game based on the moon phase. And, you know, again, you start working with something, you understand it more and more. I was trying to look at the moon phase thing that Rod was talking about for a few weeks, and I wasn't really seeing anything in it. And that's no put down to Rod. It's just Rod's been looking at it now for 2 years. He understands it a lot better, and it gives him certain confidence in certain games, like why he really liked the Titans today. For me, again, this game was, I wrote, close call. If Titans lose, they are 5-4 because Tennessee Titans is 54, and they'd pick up their 4th loss, whereas the Broncos would pick up their 4th win. On the other side, the Titans can improve to 3-1 at home, and Denver equals 31. And I said, keep an eye on who starts for Titans because Tannehill was questionable. So the Jaguars and Chiefs, you know, I mean, you need Kansas City to cover, and guess what my notes say? Kansas City should cover. Again, you got all the trolls saying, Zach can never tell spreads. Again, if you read anything about a troll about me, just understand it's false. It's probably a long nose. It's probably someone who works for the casinos, the bookies. There's a reason that there's a pack of trolls that stay on my page, my Patreon page, all day just spamming, just trying to destroy the community. Again, you guys should realize right there that that's really an endorsement for the work. What kind of group of losers would stay on my Patreon page 24/7, 365, every holiday, spamming all day, about 500 comments per day, talking shit all day? You know why they do that? Because they want to discourage people from following the work. And all they write is bullshit. I mean, everything they write is bullshit. Anyway, what I wrote is what stands out the most is Mahomes can pick up his 57th win 57 days after his birthday in the year of Super Bowl 57 in the right building, because the new name for Arrowhead Stadium is GEH Field, which equals 57. The against the spread, that's what ATS is, also suggests the Chiefs can cover the 9.5 point spread, which they did. They won by 10 today. And notice the Jags can get their 260th loss in the regular season. Kansas City Chiefs equals 260. That said, I think about a dollar parlay with the Jags. For people who don't know what that means, a dollar parlay, you can bet $1 and win easily $50 with this knowledge, and it's a good way to hedge. If you're going to bet $100 on the Chiefs in this game, you know what? Put $1 down on the Jags too. Stick it with the other games you like, because if the Jags win on the money line, they're a huge payout in a parlay because they're such big dogs. So that's where you can risk an extra $1. It's kind of like an insurance policy just in case something gets funny. And again, it's the point of looking at both sides. So risk $1 on the Jags because they have a chance to get their 72nd road win as a franchise, and that number plays a lot in KC, which is true. Arrowhead Stadium equals 72. And I mean, the 72 that did play today is the Chiefs got to 7-2, right? Which is the more likely one. And also the Chiefs could fall to 7-7 against the Jags all time. Jaguars equals 77. If they could have got like their 70, well, it was like Mahomes could get his 77th career loss today. I would have took the Jaguars if it was that, because 7-7 is not the same as 77, but it's similar. It's something to think about. But, you know, if it's 10 years from now and Mahomes has a whole bunch more wins and losses and he is playing the Jags and get his 77th loss, you might, again, just remember, 66 and 77, those numbers smash with the Jaguars like they did last week. Last week, Carr got his 77th loss versus the Jaguars. And again, today, Andy Reid ties Marty Schottenheimer with his 66th career win. Jacksonville Jaguars, 66 in the most pure cipher. Jaguars, 77 in the most simple cipher. Okay, so Browns and Dolphins. This game, I favor the Dolphins to win this week and in their next game getting to 8-3 over the Texans. Okay, you got one for next week. I also like that the Browns can lose this week and next and fall to 1-4 away versus the Bills. 14 keeps coming up with the Bills season ever since the May 14th shooting with 14 words on the gun. Remember the white supremacist had the 14 words on the gun? Big number with the Bills this year. And you might have noticed this morning, ESPN and last night, their ESPN front page, they kept up Diggs, number 14, on the Bills. So I also like that Brissett, that's the Browns quarterback, can get his 29th loss in Week 10, 29 the 10th prime. That said, I would do a small hedge parlay against that dollar parlay idea with Browns because they do have a chance to get to 4-5 before facing the Bills. Miami equals 45, as does Buffalo Bills. At the same time, they can just as easily fall to 3-6. Miami equals 36, Buffalo equals 36, Bills equals 36. And if they do lose, they will fall to 1-3 away, and we see a lot of 13 in Miami. Again, M's the 13th letter. You think about Tua, who went from Alabama, the 13 school. So many 13 rituals in Miami. There's already been a bunch in the NBA season this year. So anyhow, all the games that we liked this morning, they're all winners. The close calls, iffy. The games we liked, all winners. If you just stick with the games where I'm saying, like, this looks like what it is, you're going to win the vast majority of your games. Texans and Giants. Giants were a 5-point favorite in this game. With a 4 being a number of focus in Week 10, I suspect the Giants get their 4th home win while the Texans pick up their 4th away loss. It would also make sense if the Texans fell to 1-8-1 in their next game because Houston, Texas equals 181. And looking at the road ahead, the NFL could set up a huge matchup later this season with Giants versus Eagles in the NFC East, with the Giants having a chance to go from 6-1 at home to 7-1. Just looking at the gematria down the road, I always like to look down the road at where things could be going to. If Giants win this week, it gives them a shot at 5th home win in Week 11. 11's the 5th prime. Also, if Giants win, they are 5-1 versus Texans. Houston Texans equals 51, who hosted Super Bowl 51. So all that's good. Now, I got to tell you what's killing me with the Saints-Steelers game. When I saw how many days this game was from Mike Tomlin's birthday, my initial thought was the Steelers would win this game. And then I looked more at the numbers, and then I started to lean more towards the Saints side, and then I just ultimately wrote close call. But I shouldn't have faded my initial thought because there's a special number with the Steelers. I want you to see this about the Pittsburgh Steelers name. Their name equals the same thing forwards and backwards. It equals, when you write out Pittsburgh Steelers, it equals 243 forwards and backwards. And this game was 243 days after Tomlin's birthday. And I can't tell you how often I do it. It's tough when you look at everything because, just naturally you look at all the numbers. Sometimes evidence starts to stack away that goes against your initial thought. And you're like, maybe I better be careful. And then so often, though, it'll come back to the initial thought, and I'll be like, God, should have just stuck with what I thought. But what I wrote for this game was close call. What stands out the most is the Saints picking up the 4th win in Week 10 while winning 4th straight over Steelers. And again, I knew the 4-pounder would be good, so that's why I was like, I better just stay consistent through all the games. We won't hit them all, but I wrote, if Saints do win, they'll also get 48th road win versus AFC on day leaving 48 days left in the year while staying on 50 road losses versus AFC, where Pittsburgh's 50. My biggest concern is the Saints can pick up their 107th loss to AFC. Acrisure Stadium's 107. That's now the name of the building where the Steelers play. It's not Heinz Field anymore. Also, Tomlin is coaching 243 days after his birthday. And if the Saints do lose, they'll go into the LA game 3-7, where Los Angeles is 37 and the most pure. So, again, close call games, little shaky. Games we liked for the week, perfect. So, games we liked, Giants, correct. Dolphins, correct. Chiefs, correct. Bucks, correct. And then you have the Panthers on Thursday Night Football. So all of those games are likes, and they're all winners. Close call games, they're like a toss-up 50-50. And again, that's also where you can take the games you like and then, get cute. Like, do you want to put $5 on the Lions with the games you like? If you put $5 on the Lions in a parlay and stuck it with the other 5 games, that's a 16 parlay, and you won way more than $100 by risking 5. That's why that's why I continue to say, for those of you guys who just like to gamble a little bit in your life, which is a lot of Americans, I finally got my dad to stop buying lotto tickets. My dad's always had that dream that one day he's going to have the $1 million ticket. And I just say, Dad, there's a reason that smart people call the lottery the idiot tax. Because it is, you guys. The lottery is the idiot tax. These big billionaire winners, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Those are hired actors on TV. It's all bullshit. Nobody's winning those big pots. They're just stealing America's money. That's what this nation is. A big lie, a big manipulation, a big deception, and they can deceive millions at a time through these screens. So anyhow, this knowledge is the knowledge to get ahead of the curve, to release yourself emotionally from the investment of sports, politics, It's all rigged and scripted the same way. And again, you know, and just for the moron out there who put out another video calling me a fraud, so he said my best college football pick of the week was Baylor, which I don't know how he came to that conclusion. Funny, I just got to update. It's 2:43 p.m. out here. How weird. But again, the guy's a moron, right? He said we had a very bad week of college football. So just to go, and here, I'm going to say something about college football. I am having it's not bad, but I'm having a bad season by my standards for college football. And the reason why is because the prime number relationships that have always killed for me in college football in a good way, they're not coming through at nearly the percentage rate that they have in past years. And the one thing that I keep sitting back and look at is how on the NFL Network, they're making fun of prime numbers like in every broadcast every single day. So I'm thinking like, I keep looking at it the same way I always have, but it's just not coming through at nearly the same percentage, and that's why I'm not winning as high of a percentage in college football. But I just want, for anyone who watches the morons video that says we had a horrible week of college football, let's just go over it and see if it was a horrible week. So LSU, Arkansas. Again, there's a few things that go either way here, but I pointed out Arkansas can fall to 5-5 in week 11. For college football, they're a week ahead, so it's week 11 in college football. 11's the fifth prime number. They did fall to 5-5. LSU would become 6-1 in conference, while Brian Kelly, who's their coach, is 61 years old, and Louisiana equals 61, which they did. And then I wrote, or Arkansas can upset and get to 3-3 in conference. Tigers is 33. You know, if you follow this each week, you know that conference stat is shaky. So ultimately, the thing that made the most sense there was the prime number relationships and the 61 thing. And again, it might have kept you off that game, but, you know, you're looking for the best games. Purdue and Illinois. Purdue did fall to 5-5 as the underdog in week 11. So, you know, if you look at these first two games, the 5-11 relationship did play. Or hold on, let me make sure I didn't get that backwards. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't get that backwards. Oh, I take it back. Purdue did not fall to 5-5. No, Purdue upset Illinois. Purdue did not fall to 5-5. They upset Illinois. I take it back. Illinois had lost 5 straight at home, and they didn't end their losing streak at 5 either. So I feel like in years past that would have came through. You know, like that's just there's two big relationships there that did not come through. Louisville and Clemson. Clemson was a touchdown favorite. They had last week. Clemson fell to 8-1. Clemson was 81, and there was a lot more in that Clemson game. This week, they could have fallen to 8-2, and Louisville Cardinals is 82. They did not do that this week, so you could say that's a miss. Taking the dog. Penn State did smash Maryland, which is no surprise. They were a 10.5-point favorite. I think they beat them 30-0. They got to 8-2, and Maryland Terrapins is 82. UCF Tulane. We saw that Tulane could lose their 5th straight, and they did. And we saw that UCF could get their 5th win in the conference and keep Tulane on 5 wins, which they did. Both came 5-1 in the conference. Knights equals 51. The UCF Knights were a slight dog to Tulane. They did win. The thing to think twice about, though, in this game was UCF did have a chance to fall to 7-3, where Tulane is 73. So, again, a little bit iffy, but the prime number relationship did work in this game. And Kansas State, Baylor. The troll said that my game of the week was Baylor, where I don't know why you would think that, because I wrote that either team could become 7-3. Kansas State became 7-3. Baylor equals 73. Again, I'm just pointing out Baylor did win their championship in college basketball for the first time in 73 years. And, you know, that same troll, which I told my people that, again, that same troll is just such a dishonest piece of shit. We had Gonzaga to have a perfect season that year and win the championship. And they did have a perfect season until they lost in the championship, but we saw the narrative when the championship came around, and we saw Baylor had the numbers to beat Gonzaga. And I told my people to hedge with Baylor. I said, you're already in the driver's seat if you have your future in for Gonzaga. Baylor pays 3.5 to 1. That piece of shit puts out a video about, oh, Zach misses another future. Just like, what a fucking loser this guy is. We won through every single game with Gonzaga all year, predicting that they would have a perfect season. And then when they did lose, we saw to hedge on Baylor, which we did, and now he's making a video about how Baylor was my pick of the week. Nowhere does it say Baylor's the pick of the week. So anyhow, Baylor did lose. Kansas State became 7-3 versus Baylor. But here, here was a game that clearly I liked more in the notes with big value. I liked TCU as a 7.5-point underdog to beat Texas. I said Texas coach can fall to 11-11 in week 11 against the Horned Frogs, which equals 66, the 11th triangular number, plus Texas equals 66. And TCU can improve to 7-0 in the conference, where TCU Horned Frogs is 70. That's a huge payout. You like when a 7.5-point dog wins. So he just skips that. He puts up a video, major fraud, Zach's game of the week, Baylor fails. It's like, where in the notes does it say Baylor's the game of the week? What the fuck's this guy talking about? And you, like I said, this same guy he just made his first ever post that wasn't going after me. And what was so sad about it is it was about something that had already happened, and he couldn't even count the number of days right. His whole decode was false because he couldn't count from point A to point B. He counted 44 instead of 45, which it actually was, and I thought, man, no wonder this guy's so fucking dumb. I mean, he literally put out a video the other week where we went 6-2 on Thursday between NBA and NFL. We went 6-2, and he puts out a video about my very terrible day. It's like, man, 6-2, we hit on 2 nice underdogs, and it's a very terrible day? Major fraud alert? Wow, this guy must be really fucking dumb. But anyway, a nice big upset here with TCU. And then the game that I really liked a lot was North Carolina Wake Forest, because Wake Forest Demon Deacons equals 91. We had this same ritual last year with North Carolina and Wake Forest, and UNC can improve to 9-1. They did. And again, you can see how scripted the game is. If you watched this game last night, Wake Forest had a monster game, a monster gain at the end of the game. A huge pass and catch that put them way down the field. All they needed was a field goal to win the game. And I even said to them, I was like, oh shit, man. But then out came the penalty flag, and then they called a holding and took away this huge gain. And the announcer even said, oh, there wasn't much there. Again, you guys, that's how you can see that the outcomes are fixed. Wake Forest win was taken away from them essentially by the Zebras with a bad penalty call, but we're not complaining over here because we had North Carolina getting to 9-1, So again, for the guy out there who thinks when either team can get to 7-3 in a Baylor game is what I would say is the game of the week, I mean, that might be because you're a mental midget, but, and then skip the fact that we hit on a nice 7.5-point underdog, and a nice 4-point underdog with North Carolina as well, which to me looked like a more clear game. And I think anyone who's not a moron would have had the same conclusion, So, anyway, from college to pro, it's all fixed. And even like when I'm not happy with these college results, had Illinois beaten Purdue, it sucks when you miss out on an upset. There might have been something there I overlooked. But like had Illinois beaten Purdue, I would have said it was a good college week, but it was an okay week. But then for somebody to put out a video and say major fraud alert and Zach's game of the week. Game of the week? Where? On what logic is this the game of the week? Again, you guys, like I said, all my trolls, you guys, are morons. They're all dumb people. They're just dumb people, period. Trolls, if you guys want to call in today and explain how you're not dumb, the line will be open in a second. But again, and think about how disingenuous you got to be to overlook all the W's, I'm sure a lot of people in the community looked at the notes and were just like, you know what, I'm going with TCU and North Carolina yesterday. And I know a lot of people did because they said, thanks, Zach, I patted my pockets yesterday. Retard might have came along and been like, oh, game of the week, Baylor. Either team can be 7-3, I'm going with Baylor. Well, that's your bad. So, anyway. It's another good day in reality. It's another winning day. And again, now we're through 10 NFL weeks. We've won, and in some weeks we've won really big in 8 of those weeks. And there's been 2 weeks where it was very close to 50-50, which I would say were bad weeks. So 8 good weeks, 2 bad weeks, $5 a month. Not to mention we've been doing well in NBA. And even though college we're not dominating like we have in past seasons, we're still winning the majority of games. So, anyway, Anyway, let me open up the line here, and hopefully we get a mix of intelligent people and morons, because I got to admit, sometimes I do like when the morons call in. They can be quite humorous. Let me get the right number up here. See if I got the right number. That's not the right number. Let's see. Okay. All right, there it is, you guys. The line is just about open. It's up on the screen. I just got to open it here on my end. Okay, it's officially open. If you want to call in and talk about it, what your experience has been with the knowledge, the floor is yours. 509-560-4982. You know, if Itachi wants to call in and explain what made him so confident in the 10-1 odds, you know, hear from Itachi, the veteran who's building his own community. What's up, 407?
Yo, Zach, I've called you before in the past, and I'm already a fan of your work. I just found your work probably earlier this year. But the only thing I wanted to ask you is, do you have like a write-up of your decode for Super Bowl 56 where the Rams won? Because I have a few friends who are like big Rams fans, and you know, I tell them every week.
Well, so we did hours and hours of live streams for the Super Bowl, and again, if you went back and watched those live streams here, I'm going to set the phone down. Listen to me. I'm going to show people some things that we saw, because we liked it to be a 3-point game, and we liked Odell Beckham to score the first touchdown of the game, which paid 9-1 odds. And again, for people who forget, Odell Beckham Jr. equals 56. He's born on November 5th, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. On his 29th birthday, remember football equals 29, he was traded from Cleveland to the Rams last year, and the original Rams franchise was in Cleveland. Again, the Rams have been in Cleveland, St. Louis, and L.A., so from Cleveland to L.A., like Tupac Shakur. And then there was the rumor that they were going to have the Tupac hologram at the Super Bowl. That didn't happen, but it was like USA Today that published that. But anyway, we liked Odell to score the first touchdown because of his strong connection to 56 and with the ritual they did on his birthday. And then we liked it to be a 3-point game because when you spell out the word 3, it has Gematria 56. Plus the day before the game, Cooper Kupp's former school, Eastern Washington, beat the Idaho State Bengals by 3 points. And every year we're documenting the college NFL connection. So, and again, if people don't know, when you write out 3, it equals 56. When you write out light, it equals 56. In Genesis 1:3, the third verse of the Bible, God makes light. Again, this whole code is biblical. But anyhow, so the other thing we found that, let me put up here. Let me show you guys what happened in the 102nd World Series. 102nd World Series. When somebody called into the stream and gave us this, and I said, man, that is concerning. And in the 102nd World Series, the Tigers, like the Bengal Tigers, remember last year was the 102nd NFL season. Yakima equals 102, which is where Cooper Kupp's from, who was the Super Bowl MVP. But 102nd NFL season, 102nd World Series. The Tigers lost to St. Louis, where the Rams used to be. When I saw that, I told my people, I said, oh man, because I was, before we had the caller in the live stream, before the Super Bowl call, I was thinking the Bengals were going to win by 3. But then after that, I was like, it might be smart to take the Bengals with the points, because if you took the Bengals with the points, that was the best winning scenario for the Super Bowl, because the Bengals were a 4-point underdog. And again, if you took the Rams on the money line, for people who don't gamble, if you took the Rams on the money line, that didn't pay anything. The best possible payout you could have gotten in the Super Bowl last year was to take the Bengals with the points, which is what I had my people on before the game. And again, Odell with the 9-1 odds. And again, Cooper Kupp, we knew he was in the running for the MVP if the Rams won with his 102 connection, and he did get the MVP. But yeah, there's definitely written notes on the site from the Super Bowl. But you can if you guys join the Patreon, you guys can scroll back to old stuff. I mean, you can go back and watch those long live streams we did on the Super Bowl. So, but that was the $1 million call when the person called in about the 102nd World Series. That gave us the big clue that it actually might be the Rams game, and it was. Are you there?
They don't have any. Yeah, I'm here. We don't have any sports thing or anything.
Hold on, your call broke up.
I've been on it.
Your call broke up. Say that
Can
again.
you hear me? Oh, so I was saying, like, I am on the Patreon. Like, I live in Florida, so I can't bet or anything, but I am on the sports Patreon. I just use it to show other people, like, this stuff is scripted. But I was just asking if you had a write-up, because I did see the 4-hour live stream, but, people these days have such low attention span. So I was seeing if I could pick out certain facts from a write-up.
Well, just go and show them the stuff I just told you. Show them about the 102nd World Series. Show them about how Cooper Kupp's school beat the Idaho State Bengals the day before the game by 3 points. I mean, those are the things to show people. Those box scores are still there.
Yeah, I wrote that stuff down just now, so I appreciate that. I'm showing that too.
Yeah. Show them how Brady hugged number 55 today at the end of the game as he becomes 5-5 with the Bucs, who he won Super Bowl 55 with, and then show them how in Germany it's this day, Volkstrauer Tag Day, or however you say it, and it equals 55. I mean, and people got to say, well, what are the odds of that? This is the first ever game in Germany in NFL history, and it lines up like that. But yeah, man, appreciate the call. You have a great rest of your day.
Wait. There's one more thing I want to mention.
Oh, okay.
You still there?
Yeah.
I noticed that, like, on your Instagram, you posted, like, a quick little thing. I think those are really good because they're easy to share. Like, people can easily put that.
That's why I do it. I post on that Instagram all day, short things. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Shoot, I was trying to get Itachi in because he was calling. I wanted to hear Itachi's thoughts on the comeback. I'll call Itachi back real quick.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much, man. But thank you for the knowledge. It's been a great day. Hit my first touchdown prop bet.
That was your first ever touchdown prop bet?
Like the first touchdown. You know how it's different.
Okay. I was like, man, you hit a lot of prop bets. I'm surprised you hadn't hit one of those before. Okay. So hey,
yeah.
you what was the riddle for that? Tell us what you saw on that.
Okay, yeah. Let me pull it up. It was CD Lamb, and it's week 10 and how those numbers go. But if you read out Lamb, it equals 10. If you read out CD Lamb, it equals 55, which is, the 10th Fibonacci triangular number.
Again, you guys, most Pierce cipher, alphabetic order with numerology, Lamb 10. And how does he spell his first name?
CD with 2 E's after C with 2 E's after D. And his real name is Sidarian, which equals 55. And as you know, the game's in Wisconsin 55.
Yeah.
And what else? He gets his 15th of his career. Green Bay Packers is 150. He's born 4/8. There's 48 days left in the year. So, just a great riddle.
Indeed.
And,
Indeed.
Yeah, with that Vikings game, usually I'm more, confident where I bet more than like $10. But I mean, $10 to win 100 is great. And, it's only something you feel somewhat confident doing, like with this knowledge. And, I just remember how you taught, like, they love to mock the home fans, like, keep them late at the game, last second, just crush them. And I saw that they had 262 home wins, Buffalo. And we know Queen is 26 and 62. So
that was a big number when the Queen died. It was it 262 days after the Pope's birthday? I got to go back and double check that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that was great. And I'm trying to just think of, another. Can I tell you about the college basketball, how that's been, man?
Oh, yeah. Itachi had Temple in that upset the other day. Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, so it was all about 17. Villanova, it makes no sense why they got rid of legendary coach Jay Wright. They said he wanted to quit. He's on to the next part of the script. But the Villanova coach, a black guy, he was 17 and 16. And his name is Kyle Neptune, right? And I write out his name. Kyle is 17. So he falls to 17 and 17. He's playing the guy who was the 17th NBA draft pick, Aaron McKee.
Right.
And, I'm just I was doing the live stream, all right, let me just search Neptune. Let me see if there's just some 17 joke here. And it just, boom, pops up. It says it's 17 times the size of the Earth.
Huh.
So
interesting.
Yeah. And, again, NBA 17, so he loses to that guy, but.
I've never gotten that deep with a decode on anything in my life. So, yeah, this astrology stuff, man, it's the next level, but very interesting.
Yeah, no, it's the first time I did that. It was more like kind of the whipped cream or the cherry on the top. I think Temple's going to have a good season. It's synced up with Bill Cosby. It's their 127th season.
Isn't Bill Cosby 85 right now?
Yeah, 85 like basketball, like their coach is born in 85. So
He better be careful, man. The last 2 years, they've sacrificed people at age 86 connected to the March Madness tournament.
yeah, Elgin Baylor, and then they win with 86 points, Baylor.
And then the Peacocks player, their top NBA draft pick, Darrell Nardo Webster, was sacrificed at age 86 on the same day, a year to the day of Elgin Baylor.
It's sick, man.
And Jesuit schools for both, right? Both of them played at Jesuit schools. They both get killed at age 86. Jesuits equals 86. Pope Francis, who became the first Jesuit pope, 86 days after his birthday. And people are sitting here thinking it's not the Jesuits either, which is just, it's like, what more evidence do you need? These people are doing the same stuff day after day.
Yeah, no, just too many retards out there who come across this knowledge and just brush it off, or, you know, it's even worse. They'll just decode that way just to try and, like, get the answers to the games.
Yeah.
But, like, they couldn't care less.
Atachi, did you look at my college football notes this week?
I did.
Did you walk away thinking that Baylor was the best game to play this week?
Not at all. Not at all. It seemed like one of the more double-coded ones.
Can you imagine making a video saying that was my game of the week?
I mean, this guy's been, trolling you for years. He's kind of made a living off of your name. Like, if it's really that bad, wouldn't you just outdo it and kind of just, I don't know, not stick around for years?
Yeah, it's just annoying that this guy, though, is getting, like, more views than almost anybody in the Gematria community, and his videos are just bullshit every week. It's like, there's got to be, like, some fed. Who are these accounts in here that even follow this channel? God.
I don't know, man. Fucking losers. I mean, they're going to start doing it to me, too. So that's why I don't just always have my face out there and stuff. I mean, these people just pretending to be, like, you on the Patreon, your family members. I mean, it's really just satanic people who need to be shot in the skull, you know, on sight. Because when we talk about what's wrong with the world, I mean, they may even be worse than the cabal.
Yeah. They're part of it. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if he's got the Pinocchio nose, too. So...
yeah. Well, anyways, Zach, thanks for taking my call. Thanks for the knowledge. It's invaluable. Even if you don't gamble, it frees you from it. And you see how they sync it up with, like, just, you know, sacrifice. Like the Temple, 11 kids at Temple getting robbed, how that's synced up with the basketball game.
And that's what we've always been teaching, right? Dropping clues in the news about, and I'm sure a lot of people felt like they got their pockets robbed when Temple won, but not Itachi. He saw it coming.
Yeah. So thank you, and have a good night, man. Peace.
Yeah, indeed. Later. And again, from politics, same stuff day after day. Democrats maintain control, winning the 50th seat on the back of Catherine Cortez Masto on her 229th day of her age, the 50th prime number. You know what I mean? Not to mention, Washington and Jesuits also equal 50, and this was on the Superior General's birthday, the leader of the Jesuits, when the Jesuits have been in D.C. longer than the federal government. You know? Again, the stuff I teach you guys is day after day. Everybody's watching Kanye West's remarks about ritual sacrifice. You take the knowledge I'm talking about, you can understand what really happened with those ritual sacrifices. You can see how rigged the game is. This is the definitive knowledge. Again, anyone who'd call me a fraud is the fraud. You could never say I'm a fraud. My stuff backs itself up every day. What's up, 313?
How you doing, Zach?
Doing all right.
Well, I just called in to just share a little bit of my experience. I tried the betting side, but it didn't go that good because I was just watching little parts of the video and falling asleep. But I've been following you for like 3 years now. So I started with Young Pharaoh and his little bullshit that he was putting out, and then somebody put up a video of you explaining all that. So ever since then, I've been on this, and I can't get off of it only because when last year when Young Dolph got killed on my birthday, November 17th.
Almost your birthday. Well, happy early birthday this year. Hopefully we don't have enough. You see, you're born on a fateful day. If you go back, there's probably been a lot of deaths on that day because it's the day leaving 44 days left in the year. But again, remember, all numbers are dualistic, so don't think you were born on a bad day.
Yeah, I know. I don't really try to. I just be like, shoot, that's the life that they chose. That's the life that they live. So, you know, hey, shit happens. But the way I'll be taking the knowledge now is like, I just got a different point of view on everything. Like, I watch wrestling with my uncle sometimes, and the top team duo or whatever the fuck it is on there is the Roman Reigns and his people. They always be like, it's the numbers game. It's the numbers game because they always like if they fighting one-on-one with somebody, then the other people, the family members will come in and then they'll jump them. I'll be like, damn, they all, and then they wear stuff like they colors black and red. You feel me? I was like, damn, like they always say that, they suggest it a lot, and then like it's just a lot of stuff, man. You open my eyes to, and I really appreciate it. I just started like following back up with you because life happens, so shit. I just got that with you, but I'm gonna keep following, and shoot, I just appreciate it because it's priceless. I done bought your book like 2-3 times, but I've been giving it out to people, just trying to share the knowledge. I need one of my own that I'm gonna keep, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate the support. Glad you found the work, and thank you for calling in today.
No problem, man. Keep it up, bro.
Will do. Thank you. Take care.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. This knowledge will show you who the frauds are on YouTube. There's a certain guy who has an ad that's been playing for 3 years on the same thing. I'm approaching 54 years old. It's like, how long are you going to play this same ad for? And his name in Gematria equals 54. It's like, no wonder he keeps playing that same ad. And he's another fraud on this platform, just like Young Pharaoh was a fraud on this platform. Young Pharaoh stole a lot of money from his community. I pretty much give you guys... By the way, for all the people in the chat, like Smooth777, who you picking tonight? Hey, Smooth777, you should have been here 5 years ago when I gave out picks for free. I still do I gave you guys a free pick this week. You know what? I already gave you a free pick this week, Smooth77. Why don't you do the respectable thing and join the Patreon? I only charge $5 a month and not look like a bum in the comments begging for picks. If you bet money, invest a little, and then you could already won a bunch this weekend, and you'd have your question answered. It's like amazing how I'm saying, you guys support the work, support the Patreon. There's always some guy like Smooth777. Hey, who's winning this game tonight? Hey, I don't mean to call you a bum, but that's what a bum would do, right? It's like you're the guy, it's sad. You drive through cities and there's guys that are like 20 years old out on the corner with a sign like, I need money. It's like, well, you're 20 years old and you're an able-bodied male. Get a fucking job. Everyone's hiring right now. And I know that sometimes it's trouble because you don't have an ID and it's hard to do anything, but where there's a will, there's a way. Like, shout out to the homeless man that I just had on, used to be homeless man, who just came, shout out to Cousin Mar. Cousin Mar used to be homeless. He found the knowledge and he found a way to make a bet and he changed his whole life around and now he's got a job and he's got a residence. He's not homeless anymore. There's another gentleman in this community who used to be homeless, who got himself up with the knowledge. Cousin Mar's not the only story like that. I'll let the other person come out and say who we know used to be homeless that's not anymore either. But it just gets annoying that just these people that hang around like, oh, who's going to win this game then? How about sign up, you fucking bum? God, I don't mean to be cold, but my God, man, it's just annoying. It's just like, dude, the reason I charge $5 a month and not $500, which is probably more the fair market value for what I teach and put out, and for people who doubt that, remember, the only other person in the world who was teaching this charged people $5,000 for 3 classes on the same thing, $5,000 for 3 classes, and made his students sign an NDA, and he's also a big part of the trolls that I have because he hates that I ruined his business, and the reason I ruined his business is because I'm way better at it than him, and I hardly charge anything. 502, what's up? 502, what's up?
Yeah, I'm a Patreon. Thank you, Zach, for all you do. I have a quick question, though. It just, can this be used for good in any way whatsoever?
I just got done talking about a guy who got himself off the street off this knowledge by making a few bets.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I mean...
There's a million people in this community who've changed their whole life around off this knowledge. I just explained how this whole video, it sucks you out of the matrix of being sucked into the world of sports and entertainment and politics and news stories and paranoia. And you're calling in going, can this be used for good in any way? I'm just like...
Well, I haven't listened to every second of it. I've like been working. I've been doing other things. But I did, see that you were live, and I wanted to really quick catch on there. I've been following you since, 2013, and I am a Patreon. And, yeah, thank you for
So, all right, I appreciate you support the work, but I mean, why would you have to call in and ask if the work can be used for good?
Well, like from a political standpoint, like if you were going to get into politics, would you want to do it, would you want to like time it up with someone's birthday, or is there any way to benefit you and like do it for good.
I see what you're saying. Use the numbers in your favor is what your question is really. Can you use the numbers in your favor? I would say the answer to that is yes, but like I always say to that question too, I said I don't think you should do that because then you're essentially performing magic. And if you read any book about magic, and there's a lot of them in the library, they'll all say at the beginning, there'll be a warning. You should not become involved in magic unless you fully understand it. Yeah, I'll tell you something funny though. It was a few years ago. There's a gentleman in this community who makes a lot of money, and he wanted me to come out to dinner and meet him. And then I go out to dinner, and what's funny too is he'll send letters to me in the mail with tips. He sent a lot of. Anyway, he knows I have sweet lady and stuff, but then he tells me to come out and meet him for dinner, and then he brings his daughter with, and he's trying to set me up with his daughter, who's a lawyer, and then his daughter also wants to know about how to use this knowledge in the courtroom because she's a lawyer, and she's pretty sure that the you-know-who's who are lawyers are picking trial dates and stuff by the numbers because she started looking at this, and then she asked me, she's like, do you think I should start like picking my trial dates and stuff like that by the numbers? And I said to her, I said, well, again, I said the same thing I said to her. I was like, it's magic. You should not use magic unless you understand what the consequences could be. I think it's just better to go about things organically and just be a good, genuine person. Even though I'm aware of all this, I've never tried to do anything by the numbers other than the only thing I've ever done purposely by the numbers is code my book titles, and the only reason I've done that is for the sake of saying, see, you can come up with a title that makes sense and encode the right numbers just like how these people do every single day with their headlines. So I didn't do that for the purpose of like trying to sell more books, but just for the point of saying, see, you can make something coded a certain way if you want those numbers and you understand what those numbers mean.
Is it possible to do this by accident?
Well, by accident would be organically, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But would it still be like magic though?
Not if you're doing it on purpose. I would say that's just the synchronicity of the world. When you're doing it intentionally, then you're getting into ritualism and magic.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just like that's what the NFL is, right? Brady becomes 5-5 in the first ever game in Germany on this holiday over there that equals 55, and then they have to have the choreographed hug of number 55 after the game. That's ritualism.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you, Zach. I'll hang up now and listen to your comments and other callers.
All right, man. All right. Appreciate the call and question. Thanks for supporting the work.
You got it, bud.
All right. Take care. Okay. So he didn't, and that's why language is important, that we use the right words, because he wasn't really calling in like, can this be used for good? He understands that. He wanted to know, can we use it to benefit ourselves? And again, a lot of people have called in and asked that same question, you guys. I don't think anyone should be operating ritualistically by this code. I mean, look at it this way. Who is doing this in the world? The most evil people are. I could be wrong about this too. Maybe that's the way to defeat them, but again, go out there and read a book on magic and you'll see it says just what I said. Do not practice magic unless you understand what the consequences can be. So, all right. We don't have a lot of calls, and my guess is the reason why is because people are watching football. The games aren't over. But also for the people asking what games I like later, the games that I liked this week are already all over. And that's why I said we already had a good week. Because I think a lot of the games that are still remaining are quite close. What's up, friend in Kentucky? How you doing?
Hey, brother. Hey, man. How are you?
Doing all right. What's up?
Wow, man. You know, I want to tell you, like, I've left you a voicemail in the past, and I don't know, how much, time you have to dedicate to, random shit happening, on the other side of the country. So it's like, I figure it's touch and go. But, did you get my message about 6-7 weeks ago about water?
I think I missed it. What happened?
Well, no. The reason why I asked is because I sent you a text telling you that, hey, you should look for some spring water. And the thing is, what I'm getting at is not just coincidental stuff, but the synchronistic things that happen between yourself and myself. This is why I try to establish a connection with you. It's not out of trying to, placate a situation, man. I'm actually very sincere in my approach to you. And it was really interesting because I sent this text to you on a Friday or a Saturday. I think it was a Saturday. And I was talking about water. I was like, you're out in Washington, so you might try to find a good spring, is what I was texting to you. And I was talking about the beneficial aspects that I've felt for drinking spring water for nearly, going on almost 30 years now of my life. And it's, the best water you can possibly be putting in yourself. And I sent this text to you talking about this. And then the next day there was a caller that happened to talk about on TFR, talking about water, about like how important it is to have a good water source. That's just one example I'm saying to you, but I'm actually bringing that back to you to emphasize it, because you're in Washington, so you probably have a spring somewhere within an hour drive of you. Like we have the capability of hauling about 80 to 90 gallons at a time from the spring here in the hills. And that's, that's the water we drink. That's what our dogs drink. That's, that's what we live on. And if you searched around and talked to some of the locals from where you've moved to, someone that you might trust, you might actually find yourself, within a 45 to 50 something minute drive of getting yourself some good spring water. And if you get yourself some 5 or 6 gallon containers and haul it, then that's all you're going to be drinking. You're not getting the metallic bullshit. You're not getting the chemical bullshit of the water that's been so polluted,
Sure. I appreciate that. I think that's great advice for everyone. It's just this live stream's about the rig sports.
Do what?
Do you know that I'm on a live stream right now?
Oh no, I do not know that. No.
Yeah, this is a live stream. I thought you were calling into the show. Yeah, because we're talking about the rigged NFL.
Oh man, I didn't even know. I know. I've been doing my thing out here in Kentucky, and I had no idea.
That's okay. That's okay. But I think it's good advice. It was a nice breakup from what the topic was about. Remind people that water is important.
Hold on. To answer your question, Zach, first of all, am I live with you right now?
You are live with us right now because we're taking live calls.
Okay. Everyone, I apologize. I did not realize this. As far as you say, you guys are on the rig sports right now. There's no question in my mind that it's all one big show, and it's only for the mighty God Almighty dollar that they created for us all to be enslaved by. So they're actually just playing people's emotions and keeping them in a cyclical pattern of falling over themselves because they're so hooked on something that has nothing to do with them personally, but they get so involved with it and they put so much money and so much control power, figure like momentum on the whole society that people get swooped in and can't help but be caught up in this emotional thing that's happening to them. But man, it's all such a freaking scam.
It
you
is.
Can't see that from the ticket prices to the shoes to the jerseys and all this stuff. I mean, like you said the other night, there's nothing wrong with the wholesomeness of loving to play a team sport. But when it gets into these type of bullshit leagues and rigged systems, man, it's just overkill, and people should wake the hell up.
Indeed, 1,000,000%. All right, friend. Well, I'll get back to you, and we'll have to do another stream on homesteading. For people who don't know, this man's homesteading out in Kentucky, and that's why he's calling in with the good tips on health. Make sure you have a good, healthy source of water. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a real thing, guys. I'll talk to you personally about this, in Australia this spring when you come here and visit with us. But the thing is, guys, out there in the world, guys, stay positive and stay on your freaking mission, because if you slip too much, you're gonna freaking fall. So stay strong, man, and stand up for what you believe in, people, because that's the only way we're gonna ever have an effect. That's the only way you can make a positive, influential change into the system. That's the only way. You got to stand for what you believe, and don't freaking believe it when people think you're freaking nuts, because you're not.
Indeed. Indeed. Well said. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Hey, yeah. Later, guys. Hey, mad love, Zach.
The
Hey, Hales,
refrigerator.
I hope Sweet Lady's good, man, from the accident, man, and all that stuff. But everybody, love you, be safe, and keep it real, people. We got only so many grains of sand left in your time capsule, man. Nobody knows when your day is, so keep it strong. Love, baby. Later.
Appreciate it, man. Great message. And there's Sweet Lady. She's doing well.
Amen.
Amen, Sweet Lady says. What's up, 530? 530, you're on.
Oh, hello. Sorry. I don't really have much to say, but I just recently I was watching your show, or not your show, your live, and I already knew this stuff was fake and just everything going on and how it all connects and stuff. I just wanted to say I appreciate your lives. Just I just wanted to say that I just appreciate your lives and what you do, helping other people just wake up and just bringing that community together.
Well, you're welcome, and that's what we're trying to do in a big way. I don't know if you saw when I just drove across the whole country, but we brought together really diverse groups of people all across the country. It just goes to show there's a lot of different truth seekers out there. We're all ages, we're all backgrounds, we're all different colors. And yeah, we do got to come together. So I appreciate that you're out there too. The one thing we don't have enough of in this community is ladies. So it's good to hear a woman's voice as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I've also been I've been looking into your Patreon. But I don't really bet, but I do just want to learn more and just to be more familiar with the gematria and everything else.
Well, that's the best thing to do. I got to be honest. I mean, to me, it's better not to gamble if you don't need to, if you already have enough money. I mean, it's nice to build up a little bit of extra pocket change, but the thing about gambling is the average person, when they start gambling, they get addicted and they start doing it every day, and then they start betting too much. A lot of people fall into these traps, and then you're essentially becoming part of the matrix again, and you're giving too much of your energy. If you can be responsible with it and just keep it on a responsible level and not get greedy, it can be okay. But again, us as human beings, we have flaws and we have addictive qualities, so it's better to just have the knowledge, I would say, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, all right then, man. Thank you. I hope you have a blessed day today.
All right, I appreciate that. I hope you do too. Thank you so much. Good to know you're out there.
You're welcome.
All right, take care. All right, First Lady. Again, I recently looked at my analytics for the first time. Less than 20% of the community are women. But what blows my mind about that, if that's true, if YouTube stats right, I forget what it was 18 or 19% of the community was women, it said. What blows my mind is the majority of my supporters on Patreon, though, are women. I'm like, wow, so women hardly make up any of the community, but they are the vast majority of the support? Yeah, well, in a way, I guess it kind of makes sense. Women are more like the caretaker, the supportive type. You always see the comments from the guys in the chat. What's tonight's pick then? It's like, so what are you, just Mr. Freeloader? I just gave you a bunch of knowledge for free. You can't chip in $5? I mean, you're going to go probably buy a beer at the bar tonight and give the bartender a bigger tip just for pouring a drink that took them 5 seconds out of their life. I mean, I want you guys to think about that. How many of you do go drink at the bar and then give the bartender a big fat tip and all he did was put a glass under there and poured the beer out in 5 seconds? Here I am decoding hours a day for knowledge that you can use to get ahead, and literally you're having to give the tip that you'd give on one beer at the bar for the whole month's worth of work. 630?
Hello?
Hello?
Is this the Gematria channel?
That's it. You're on it.
I'm live right now?
You're live right now.
Oh man, I didn't think I was gonna get through. So I just heard you mention something about the Matrix, right? And so do you believe that we live in a Matrix?
Well, to an extent, there's a lot of beliefs about numbers ruling the universe and everything coming back to mathematics. It does seem that there's something to that.
Well, the reason I asked that is because I assumed you did based off of the fact that, you're like the Gematria guy. You're the main guy when it comes to Gematria. And like, I also heard you mention earlier that when it comes to magic, that it's the evil people that are in control of, using this sadistic magic on the world. But have you ever considered that everything has this, everything is in perfect numbers because of the fact that we are living in a matrix?
Again, the reason I can just destroy an argument like this in 5 seconds is just an example like Chadwick Boseman. Why did they have to falsify his age of death?
You said why they had to falsify his what?
Right. Why did they have to change his age of death? He didn't really die at age 43. He died at age 42, but then they changed it afterwards and said he died at 43.
Right.
So that shows right there that numbers are being manipulated when it comes to the things we're exposing.
And I understand. I understand that, they change things in order to fit the agenda that they're going for. But I mean, it's the fabric of material life itself is written in code, is written in even the main scientist for he works for NASA, but he also works for he works for the president, works for the government. He found that there's completely ones and zeros written into the fabric of material life itself, written into our DNA, written into everything. So, and then also atoms. Everything in the world is made of atoms. So your skin, my skin, and the Empire State Building, we're all made of the same thing. How is that possible?
Well, yeah. Sometimes I question all that stuff. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we learned in books that are full of shit. So, I mean, I'm not sure that's true.
Exactly. But so the reason I bring this up is because I personally believe that we live in a simulation. And when I say we live in a simulation, I feel like the atoms are one of the biggest signs, considering that everything is made of the same thing. Almost like in a video game, you see different things in a video game that are all different, but they're all made of the same digital structure. So I feel like that is one major proof that we live in a simulation. And I feel like it'd be easy to control these football games, basketball games, the outcomes, the way things move, if somebody actually is in control of the whole entire simulation itself, not just these people being a conglomerate when it comes to the players and it comes to the owners and it comes to the coaches and everything. Sure, everyone can be in on it, but I think that's just too many people that are all together at one time, that you have to get hundreds and hundreds or however many people are in each league to be in on it at the same time. But it's like, if it's a simulation in which they have videos out there showing NFL players that move in synchronicities at the same exact time. If you look it up you just look up YouTube videos of NFL simulation, you can see there's moments when things happen that shouldn't have never happened. Where
all of Tom Brady's Super Bowls, they should have never happened. It's like, man, this simulation really loves Tom Brady.
Yeah, actually it does. It does seem to love Tom Brady. He and I do believe that
he somehow is the golden child of, the NFL when it comes to the simulation in itself. I do believe that he has some type of...
So you think the simulation's racist too? You think the simulation just hates black people?
No, actually, I think, okay, if you want to get into that, I think that what we're seeing with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West is a symbolization of why the...
How about the UFC player, how about the UFC fighter who's dead at 38 today who's black? You think that's just the simulation?
Wait a minute, say that again, I'm sorry.
There's a UFC fighter dead today for no reason at age 38.
No, he didn't die for no reason. He's been sick for the past three to 6 months. He's been completely ill with dying from some type of cancerous thing. He had to cancel his fight in September that he was fighting for a belt in Bellator, and he actually was fighting for a championship in September, and he canceled it because he was completely ill.
Well, you can make the same excuse with Eazy-E. You could say, well, he just got ill too. I mean, you can make people ill. So I'm just saying, look at the pattern. Look at the pattern. Dead, born March 6th, dead exactly 36 weeks after his birthday. And again, I made a big point about how today's like the ultimate number of the beast day because it's the 317th day of the year, the 66th prime. It's 66 date numerology. Number of the beast equals 66. He's dead 36 weeks after his 3/6 birthday when 666 is the 36th triangular number. So.
And those specific, you notice how you so like those devil numbers keep popping up, the 3 and the 6 and all that those numbers play a significant role, I've noticed.
Yeah, and black men dying in connection to 38 happens a lot too, whether they're sick or not. So I think a 38-year-old athlete should be able to overcome illness.
Gematria, besides yourself, I'm sorry, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I still hear you.
Okay, sorry. I've heard other people speaking on this topic besides yourself, that are bringing up these specific numbers, 38, and honestly, I don't know a lot about Gematria. I've never even discovered Gematria until I came across your channel. But when I did discover Gematria, and I started to realize that these numbers do play a role in all of these events that are happening, and I think that it's not just I don't think that it's a coincidence that these numbers line up. Somebody just did a video about Kobe Bryant and his death, and about how he died at the age of 41, and then when in his game, on his last game that he was playing, there was 4.1 seconds left on the clock before he hit his final shot, and they were making the comparison that that same day, the Lakers won their championship in 2020. All the numbers of the date equaled 41 when you added them.
Right, and he won 41 weeks after LeBron's birthday on Father-Daughter Day, which had nothing to do with the simulation. It had everything to do with a totally phony and fake pandemic that shifted the baseball season for a perfect ritual with Chadwick Boseman's death on the makeshift Jackie Robinson Day. And then they had to change his age and then just set up the Lakers so they could win it. Not to mention we guaranteed the Lakers would win the finals that season 2 years before it even happened. And again, on Father-Daughter Day, after Kobe and his daughter died, not to mention I have a book in 2017 that came out about Kobe and how his whole career was 41, long before he died at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age while traveling from Catholic Mass, when we live in a world where the Catholic Church gave us the language and the calendar. Again, this is why the simulation thing is a joke. You can see who's doing the ritual murders. You can see who runs the show. What do you think? The simulation just favors Jewish people to own everything? And the simulation of YouTube, I guess YouTube's on a simulation. You can talk shit about any religion, but you say anything about the Jews, then your whole video and channel comes down. And that must just be the simulation, huh?
Well, I do believe that the whole entire thing is part of the simulation. Yes, I do believe that everything that we're discussing right now is based off of numbers, and I feel like the numbers are written into the it's almost like as if this is a game, and it's written into the game. And so when things are going to happen, that's why you can pull up the numbers. That's why the numbers can line up perfectly, because it's written into the game.
So 9/11 was, there was nothing nefarious. It was just the simulation on 9/11.
No. So maybe you might have me confused on what I mean by simulation. I don't think that everything is just simulated. I think that this is, in a sense, the world we live in is a literal simulated world, and everything runs off of.
Well, if it's all just simulation, then nothing needs to be manipulated, right? You wouldn't have to change Chadwick Boseman's age. You wouldn't have to stage a false flag attack on 9/11 in a nation where 911 was made the national emergency dialing code in the same year World Trade Center construction began. Ultimately, your thoughts don't really add up, my guy. Until next time. What's up, 202?
How you doing?
Well, listen to that last caller. Just made me lose like at least 38 IQ points, but what's up?
So I'm in your Patreon, right? And so when you do your like your picks, and you you have like the conclusion at the bottom and stuff with the whoop. Is there a way you can, like, I guess, just instead of like giving the descriptions and like with the numbers and stuff, is there a way you can just say, okay, Bucks money line, or my players,
Well, all that information's there, right? In games where it's clear what the money line is, I'll write it out. But I mean, if you can just look. So the reason I write it out the way I do is so you can look with your own eyes. And I mean, you should be able to look. Like if in a game, if the against the spread lines up and the win record lines up, like it's like, okay, that game looks really good. The record's there and the spread's there. Some game you might look at, you might be like, well, the record's there, but the spread's wrong. And I'm looking at it the same way. I'm thinking, well, that's not my game of the day. I'm looking for the one where everything lines up. So I'm trying to train you guys for how to do the work. Again, I might not be here all the time, Who knows? Maybe I could be driving down the road and I get killed in a car crash. Now you need to know how to do it. So some things I write out the conclusion. Some things I just put all the information there for you to use your own mind. I'm a teacher. I'm trying to teach you guys. You're calling in right now and saying, man, I need to be spoon-fed everything. Can you spoon-feed everything to me? That's what you're doing, though. That's what you're doing.
No, for sure.
Yeah, all the information's there. It's just like that Wake Forest game last night. There was only one narrative for what the outcome should be in that game, and you already know it's the dog. That's why I'm always looking for dogs. Dogs, you just know to take dog on the money line. That's where all the value is.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you followed the UFC, but we predicted that Adesanya was going to lose yesterday, and in the fifth round by knockout, just like the Usman fight was also predicted with the same outcome. Do you also do decodes with sports like that? Or?
I used to do a lot of UFC. And again, you can make a lot of money in the UFC off this knowledge. All of these leagues are rigged this way. So
yeah. Did you already talk about the Bills game, or did you not touch on that yet?
Well, we covered the Bills game earlier, I was worried the Bills might fall to 6-3. Look how many points they scored. 63 points total in the game in the 63rd season. So.
Yeah, but watching that game, I mean, you can clearly tell,
It was a bullshit-ass game. Bills would have put away the game if they just kicked the field goal instead of going for it on 4th and 2 and throwing an interception. What was the point of doing that?
Yeah. But anyways, I'm just a great supporter. That's all I had to say, You have a great night.
All right, appreciate it, man. Take care.
I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, guys. The sound is uneven because some people's phones are super quiet and my voice is not. So I have my phone volume all the way up. When I get my office set back up, I'm still waiting on my desk to come. When I sold my house, they wanted all the furniture in it, which made it easy for me to not have to move anything. But the problem is the desk I ordered, it was supposed to come in October, and then I got an email and said, well, now it might be the end of November. And I actually just recently got an email that says it might not come till January now. And I'm like, why is it so hard to get a damn desk? So anyway, I might just have to go order a different desk because I don't know if I want to wait for a desk until January. For now, we're at the kitchen table. But this kitchen table, I can't set my mic up on. It needs a thinner rim on the table. So anyway, it's freezing there at 69 degrees. Are you making fun of us because you're in Florida? It's like 30-some degrees outside here right now. Could be worse. It could be Siberia. But yeah, you guys, for all the people who complain about the way I give the sports information, again, I am trying to get people to think. Again, I give you all the data there, and it's not that hard to connect the remaining dots. Like, for example, here, I'll pull up the NBA notes so people can see what he's talking about. He wanted me to write a conclusion for this Knicks game this morning, but hold on, we got a call first. What's up, 253?
253, Zach, how you doing?
What's up, man?
Good, man. I've been a long-time listener, first-time caller. I usually just try to stay low-key like a midget locksmith and just listen to you, right? And that last caller, you're right as far as teaching. So what I do, when I see the comments in your Patreon, right, I'm like, do anybody do their own research? So anytime that I go on your Patreon or listen.
Well, the thing about my Patreon comments is no one who's a real supporter even comments there because they just know it's overrun with trolls, which is sadly how it's been since 2018 when I started it, because they've been there from day one harassing the community. And it's sad that many fake accounts are on there that are there to talk shit, but the reason they're there is to disrupt the community. And by the way, you guys, that's why I do have the new sports community page where all the trolls are blocked. So if you guys want to sign up for the same information on the new Mighty Networks app, in GematriaEffectNews. Again, go on your phone right now, download Mighty Networks app, and then go into GematriaEffectNews. That's our community. Most of the site is free to use, but if you want the sports information, it's just $5 a month. There's no trolls on there. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's excellent. So yeah, I just wanted to make that point. Like you have taught me to not just listen to people, right? I do my own research, my own decode. Like I have a cousin. He doesn't believe in gematria. He just like to go and bet. He makes good money, but he'll call me because he know I do the work. And I'll give him a free pick. Now I said, man, I'm feeling like Zach and the rest of the guys. I'm tired of giving you these free picks. Stop being dumb. You work as a marketing tech. You deal with numbers. This is right up your alley. I'm trying to unlock the potential that you possess. I think you possess. But I said, don't call me and asking for picks, but it's just like this whole thing. And I've been wanting to be in your YouTube comments. My handle is meet me halfway. I think I just commented to remind you that the Sermons Room guy name is Walter Veith. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, oh yeah, Amazing Discoveries channel.
Yeah, that's me. And I think I had comment like on the Panthers game. It's just like you know what I really appreciate about you, Zach, is unhinging the veil from my eyes. So, like, the Panthers kicked the field goal with 7:03 on the clock, 46-yard field goal. But if your eye is not trained to see that, like, I have a girl, she watched football. She's crazy about the Seahawks, and like today, she's like, why did he do that? And I said, he has to. You know, this is what I really admire about you. Like you just said, you could be going down the road in a car crash. Me too. Who are we going to pass this down to? That's the way I'm looking at it, because this is sick. Like the stuff that the sermon room and also you talk about is this, man, I get into a zone. All I do is go to the gym, go to work, research, and see how they've been bamboozling me all these years. Slave school, people around me dropping like flies because they don't want to be my friend anymore because I'm talking about numbers. It's just like, but I'm the lunatic.
Hey, I know it's sad, man. It's sad. I remember in 2013 when I first found this knowledge, I gave an initial presentation just on the number 74 on my Facebook page about look at this number throughout history, guys. And the only two people out of I probably had 300 Facebook friends on there because my Facebook back then was really only people from my life who I actually knew, who I worked with, who I went to school with, acquaintances. And out of all the 300 people on there, there were only two people who thought it was interesting. They both happened to be girls. And everybody else was like talking shit and saying it seemed like I was mentally ill. And I was like, what is wrong with it? Like, really? After what I just showed about 74 mental illness? And then it just reminded me, like, well, these are the same people who fell for 9/11, who are still thinking all this stuff is real when it's such obvious bullshit on TV. They're still super invested in the sports game, which is complete shit. And so I was like, you know, I mean, Again, my trolls will hate on me and say I'm a Jewish shill. Again, I'm not Jewish. I could prove it all day. I could pull down my pants right now and literally prove to you that I'm not Jewish, because every Jew has their dick trimmed. Mine is not. I'm not trying to give you guys too much information. But at the same time, my dad does not know who his dad is, and it probably is true. His dad probably is Jewish. His mom never told him who his dad is because his mom had a lot of partners. She has several children. They all have different dads. But anyway, the point is his dad probably is Jewish, and maybe there is something. Maybe the Jews are right. Maybe they do have a few more IQ points. They boast about how much better they are at math than everybody else, how much better they are with numbers. I might have Jewish genetics. Doesn't make me Jewish, but it might have given me an advantage in the world of math. And to me, I've always thought, I don't mean to be arrogant, but not that I thought, it's just like I know. I've always been better than pretty much everybody around me academically, especially in mathematics. So when I have a bunch of people calling me a schizo because I'm showing them something that's undeniable in numbers, I'm realizing, like, you know what it is? People will call people crazy and names for things that they don't understand and they can't comprehend. What I'm really running into is I'm on a higher intellect than these people, which I already knew, and now the intellect is so much higher and the knowledge base is so much higher that all they can do from their little IQ standpoint is criticize and make fun of me. Well, guess what? Well, here's what I did in 2013. I said, you know what? Here's middle fingers, you guys. I've held your hand long enough. I got to graduate and find some smarter people to roll with, because I can't keep hanging around dumb people who think facts and knowledge are schizophrenia. That's sorry. You guys are bad for business. And that was that.
Indeed. I just wanted to give you your flowers because I listen to you all the time, and like I said, I'm not the. And another thing I'm sounding like is like, I have a cousin that played in the NBA, and I didn't know this knowledge before, but now, I don't attend the family reunions, but I did go last year because I just started Gematria like probably a year and a half, so I'm more in tune now, and I'd be so tempted to ask him, like, bro, I know what's going on, but I don't want my parents sacrificing and buried somewhere in Casper, Wyoming, right? So I just tell myself I'm just gonna stay away. But he never reaches out like that. Maybe around Christmas or something. I'm just like, even in the family is there. And I read a book a while ago by a guy named Dr. Kaba Kamene. He always says that when a system or a person or system tells a perfect lie, the truth is unbelievable. So I'm, trying to tell these people, like, wake up. For example, I just at my coworkers, I don't go deep into Gematria, but I just try to give them something. Hey, next time you look at your favorite Seattle Seahawks, look for this. So the guy came back to work. He said, yeah, I see what you're talking about, but I'm still going to watch it. I'm like, okay, that's up to you, but at least you see it, right? So I just appreciate that. This stuff is so deep and corrupt. I'm just in awe all the time. Like, with these Jesuits and stuff, it's just like, they were banned in 83 different countries, and then they submerged back, and then it's like, then you find out that Andrew White behind the White House and the flag and the power structures and the structures behind the structures is just like, it's deep, man. So I appreciate you because I was a big Bengals fan since '89. 2015, they're playing Pittsburgh, about to go to the playoffs for the first time since the 80s, and they get 2 flags in 15 seconds, and I was on my knees almost like about to cry, and I said, hey, after this, I am done. I'm not going to have this over me like this. And then gradually, I got ready, and your YouTube and your information came into my life, and I was just like, I don't even watch them. I hate even just watching games when I do bet. It's just disgusting. So I just usually just check the score or whatever. But I just wanted to tell you thank you so much because you have affected and impacted my life tremendously.
Well, I appreciate the support.
And you're just right over in Yakima, man. We're not far, so you're doing your job. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who supports the work. And same thing. I mean, you're talking 89. I'm thinking Icky Wood Shuffle. Those were the days. But as a child, I started to see it because I remember the Blazers Bulls finals really well growing up in Portland. And I just remember Jordan, man, you couldn't do anything to Jordan. You get near him, it's a foul. He can do no wrong. I mean, it's just, you just see the way the refs control the game, how biased the officiating is. I was a child then, and it was transparent. And then the final straw for me with pro sports, again, for people to forget, it was the Blazers-Lakers Western Conference Finals. Blazers were up nearly 20 points going in the fourth quarter. Man, if you can find that game somewhere, go back and watch the Blazers in that fourth quarter against the Lakers. There's no way they're playing to win. They're not using the shot clock. They're not playing defense. They're not rebounding. They're rushing down the court and firing up three-pointers. You see it in these NFL games, too. A team will have a commanding lead in the fourth quarter, and it's like, why are they snapping the ball with 15 seconds left on the clock? Like, they should be milking every last second on that clock. Why are they rushing like they need to do? And then, wait, they're throwing the ball, now they're stopping the... What? Did you see the Seahawks-Bucks game today? The Bucks were way up. Then it's like, what are you doing? There's 6 minutes left in the game, and Brady throws an interception right to the Seahawks defender. Why are you even passing on that play? Run the ball. You're going to take another 40 seconds off the clock. I mean, these games, and not to mention when they got up like nearly 20 points, the Seahawks go down the field in 5 seconds to score a touchdown. Then the Bucks get the ball back and throw an interception right away, and the Seahawks go down and score. All of a sudden, it's a ball game again. It's just like, I mean, these games are just such bullshit.
It is, and you know, like my cousin did ask me. He said, so, you know, I told him, I said, you know, I tell him about your work. I said, watch Zach. I said, for me, I said, man, studying these people, I said, they love mockery, deception, delusion, trickery, all of that stuff. So, like, why not use what they use against them? I said, because without Zach's work, I took a parlay with the Lions today. You know what
I knew somebody would, because the value's there, and they had a narrative. There you go.
They had a narrative, for sure, indeed. So, you know, and I told him, I said, you know, if you want to work the rest of your life, I said, my plan is to not be working at my slave job, to where as long as I keep listening to you and keep doing my research, I think I'm good enough to where I don't want to work for them. I want to be free, and it's the same stuff that you're talking about.
Right. And there are people in this community who no longer have their slave job, and they literally are making a living off this. Is everybody going to be able to do that? No, but if you have enough intellect right here, you can be the next person to do it. I'm trying to show you how people in the community are doing it. You know, for all the people who hate on me, understand the only other person who was teaching this in the world was a Jewish person. And again, he was charging people $5,000 for 3 classes and making them sign an NDA. And he's been trolling me nonstop. I'm pretty sure he's probably got all the troll bot accounts on my Patreon, because I messed up his whole... And again, is it bad that I messed up his business? Is it right that he was charging people $5,000 for the knowledge and making them sign an NDA? Nobody trolls that guy. Why does nobody troll that guy? Think about that. Why doesn't he have trolls? He sucks at it anyway. I embarrassed him the first 3 years because he used to compete with me publicly, and then he stopped because he was putting his future out there and mine, and guess who's kept landing? Mine kept landing. I kept winning, and then he kept looking like an asshole. And it's like, see? Go pay $5,000 for that guy. I'm charging you guys $5 a month, and I'm way better at it. Now what?
Yeah, and like you said, you could be charging way more. But this knowledge is priceless, because not only, like you said, in the beginning, I got caught up in the sport betting and then realized it's deeper than that. But while I'm at it, and now that I'm better, why not make a couple of dollars to where, you know, it's going to my mortgages and things like that. So, but on the field play is so perfidious that it's like, you know, the back in Rome, I guess they love theater. I be telling my cousin all the time, like, they love this. I could see them, like, watching this script they wrote and, like, meeting in some secret place and seeing if the script is fulfilled, or just some crazy stuff like that. And these people coming up dead is like, they have to, in some sense, have to be conjuring some spirits, you know, because I don't never hear about, oh, well, it was a van parked out there all day on this such and such street. Man, I think they're so deep. I just got to tell you, I appreciate opening my eyes, because if it wasn't for you, I stumbled across your video. I think I was watching, the guy called in yesterday about battle rap. He is so true. I don't know if you remember that guy. He says how the order has transcended into battle rap. When battle rap started, it was like a low budget. It was almost like pickleball. And then it transformed into this big thing, big commercial type of thing. And then you start seeing battle rappers getting sacrificed. And then you teaching me, I'm looking, it's like, this is the same numbers. Why is he wearing 42? What's 42 doing in battle rap?
Right.
Like,
Right.
what's going on? So it has transcended everything. So I think I was watching a battle rap video, and the next link was you talking about Gematria, and I didn't feel like getting up, whatever. And I listened to it. I was like, okay. And the rest is history, man. I'm a long-time supporter, fan, friend, all of that. You need me for anything, let me know. I'm right over the mountains.
All right. Well, I'll be back in Seattle eventually to pound pavement. I got to come out there every so often, so we'll have to meet up next time. Appreciate it, man.
Indeed, man. Take care.
All right. Yeah, you have a good one. Take care.
You too.
See you. Okay. Nice long stream. Shout out to whoever just bought my ebook. I appreciate that. Daryl. Shout out to Daryl. Daryl just picked up a copy of the ebook on the website. Again, for all the people out there who just don't have $5 a month to support the Patreon, I do almost everything for free. Again, that's the thing that annoys me too. I do a stream like, welfare queen. You need somebody to pay your bills and wipe your ass for you. It's like you never got out of kindergarten. But anyway, if you guys come to my website, if you can at least read for yourself, GematriaEffect.news, I have made my books free to download. You can pay for them as well if you want to support the work, but you can download them for free. And if you read and learn, you will have the knowledge to apply to start picking the games yourself. What's up, 916?
I can prove it's rigged.
Okay, I'm listening.
This is Illegal Smile.
I recognize your voice. What's up, man?
Hey, I put a whole bunch of stuff there on your Mighty Network on the NASCAR Championship. I was spot on. Nice. And it's a never-ending story. I got to give Bally Go Backwards a plug. He did a deal on it being the kid that won. His name is Joey, and then Bally did a thing on Joey on the show Friends, and Joey is Matt LeBlanc, the actor. Okay. Anyway, and it played in, his was perfect, and of course all the numbers that he came up with were exactly all the numbers that I came up with, although my approach was from the Hall of Fame video that NASCAR did at the start of the year with one of their inductees. Okay. So I'm not going to go into that. If anybody wants to see it, they could go read about what I put on there, because it's dead nuts spot on. Okay, so here, for people who want to check out what he said, go to freetofindtruth.com. You can also download the Mighty Networks app and go to the Gematria Effect news page, or go to freetofindtruth.com on a computer. And then when you get there, search Illegal Smile, right? Illegal Smile. Illegal Smile. Illegal Smile. If you just start to type in illegal, it'll pull up. Click on his page, and then go to See Activity. This man's all about the NASCAR right here. And is this the thing? Take note that Kulwicki and McGriff? Well, that's what's coming up right now. See, here we go. They're going to do another NASCAR Hall of Fame, and they're putting this guy Kulwicki in. And Kulwicki is related to last year with the guy's speech and Davey Allison. Okay. So now going to Bally stuff and the Matt LeBlanc, this year, the kid they're putting in NASCAR Hall of Fame, he's not a kid, but I call him a kid. I'm an old man, Zach. Sure. His name is Matt. His name is Matt Kenseth. Now, Kulwicki is from Wisconsin, and the NASCAR deal was a lot about the number 55 and 222 this year. Now, of course, we know Wisconsin's 55, and now Kulwicki was another death ritual from NASCAR, just like Davey Allison was a death ritual from NASCAR, and just like Ty Gibbs was Exactly. Last week a Gibbs wins and another Gibbs dies. I mean, how obvious. Okay, so now we saw the 22 car win that race. Okay, and we know that Ty Gibbs is born on March now I don't want to say what day he's born, but I want to say this, that the guy they put in the Hall of Fame, his name is Red Farmer, Charles Red Farmer. And it was 22 days from his birthday to the championship race this year. And it's also 22 days from Ty Gibbs' birthday, that's the driver in the 23 car, to Red Farmer's birthday. And then the huge relationship between him and Davey Allison. And, of course, there was a whole bunch of 191. Davey Allison ran 191 races in NASCAR total before he was killed in a helicopter crash. Helicopter 51, Penske 51. Anyway, but it's going to continue this year with this Matt LeBlanc, of course, and the Friends show. See, where the Friends relates is when Red Farmer gave his speech, he said, Davey Allison was my best friend. We were best friends. Friends. That's all he could talk about was his best friend, Davey. And then they lay shit on you. If anybody out there is listening, I linked the 15-minute speech to Red Farmer on my posts, and you can speed it up and you can watch it in about 7 minutes, and you'll hear everything he says. He says, 213. I won the Daytona race on 213. And then if you look up Joseph Thomas Logano, you get 213. And you go to Joseph Thomas Logano won the race in L.A. That was the first race of the year, the 213 area code. And I did the whole season, and I really don't pick a driver to win a race. I quit doing that. I like to do the future thing. I also want to say that this stuff didn't really come to me, and I really didn't really conceive it until I started writing it down and doing it myself.
That's what you got to do. Because when you start practicing it yourself and writing it down, that's when it starts really sticking in your mind and making more sense. It's just like when I listen to Rambo, it makes a lot of sense, but if I don't apply the knowledge myself, it'll fall out of my brain as fast as I heard it. But then when I practice it, then it sticks.
Right. So then we got to look at this Alan Kilwicki and this Herschel McGriff. Herschel McGriff's from out here on the West Coast. I've known about him all my life. Herschel McGriff doesn't belong in any Hall of Fame, okay? The only thing Herschel McGriff did was live a long time. And he had a fucking race car. That's it, okay? But see, Herschel McGriff is born on the same day as Alan Kilwicki.
Okay.
It goes back to Matt and Matt LeBlanc and Matt Kenseth going into the Hall of Fame. And then here's the kicker. If I'm wrong, here's the kicker. Red Farmer's name is Charles Red Farmer. Okay? And I knew this stuff way ahead of time, and I was hoping that people would jump in with me and help me on the Mighty Network, but I didn't get a whole lot of support. But
well, you're not posting in the sports section. You're posting in the free section.
Yes,
so.
I'm posting in sports.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. Oh, you're posting under the sports tab in the free section. You're not posting in the actual sports community.
Okay, so I don't even know I don't know how to do all that. But
you just got to sign up. When in the drop-down menu, it says sports decoding and picks. If you start posting there, that's where the active sports people are. It's $5.
Okay, well, I'm on that. I'm in the $5 deal. So now, maybe, and this is
here's what you need to do. If you're signed up for that, when you go to post, when you click in there's a drop-down menu. Notice when you're posting up there, it'll be like GematriaEffectNews community, and then if you click that, there's one that says sports decoding and picks. You need to post it in that section, then it's going to go to the people who are in that, who are looking for other picks. There's more involvement with, because the free section, people, it's kind of like a free-for-all. People are just sharing whatever. If you start posting in the sports community, it's not getting drowned out by everything else. So that's what you got to do different. You have to actually go into the sports decoding and picks section and post.
Okay. Now, to keep that from getting all convoluted, can there be just a racing channel on there, a racing section?
I suppose I could set that up. It's just, yeah, I can look into setting up things for NASCAR. So.
Yeah, that's just a thought. So, but anyway, to this Alan Kilwicki and this, we'll look what happens at the NASCAR Hall of Fame and this Herschel McGriff and what they say on that Hall of Fame and how they work it out. Because see, Larson's born on the 213th day of the year with 153 remaining. His regular normal birthday is on the 212th day of the year. So, and this is what they do. 2 days or a day before Larson won the championship in Phoenix. Okay, that's where they have it now. His Twitter page, it's his mother's Twitter page. She don't do it, I promise you. She tweets a picture of Kyle and his father. And Kyle's in a papoose on his dad's back, and it says, this is Kyle's first trip to Phoenix. Okay, and he says, is that the Copa World Classic? Well, I know that for a fact because I was at that race. Okay, so then I know that race was in February, so I look it up, and it was on 2/28, and from 2/28 to Larson's birthday is 153 days, and from Larson's birthday back to 2/38 is that 2/13 shit. NASCAR loves that 2/13, and I'll tell you why. 2/13 is the 44th day of the year, and NASCAR is all about death. That's their main selling item. That's what they
Dale Earnhardt, when he died, man, I thought it was so weird when he died how much people cared. I was blown away. That was just before 9/11. But I just remember all of a sudden Dale Earnhardt lawn chairs were everywhere. Dale Earnhardt stickers. I was like, man, I didn't realize everybody loved NASCAR like this. Oh my God, this Dale Earnhardt death is the biggest thing that ever happened. So.
Well, see, Zach, and I'll say this. There's a movie called Speed, and the guy's a Formula One driver. He was killed. It's a true story, kind of. And he takes his girlfriend to see the car, and the girl goes, why do they make them so dangerous? And he goes, because the thrill of death turns people on, honey.
Yeah.
And then, and that's the truth. It's sexual.
Well, you got people that are into all kinds of stuff, choking each other and all sorts of stuff, so, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, friend, I appreciate all the information. You guys, this is why, though, the knowledge has to get out there, and this is why people like him deserve it. I bet you would have never signed up for $5,000 to learn the knowledge, but now that you know it, you're using it yourself, you're benefiting, and just like a lot of people in this world, so appreciate it.
Well, check it out, man. Everywhere I went, this summer, because I'm going to take off this summer. I'm going to do some futures on NASCAR, then I'm taking off. I'm going to go do my thing, and then I'll be back in the fall. But everywhere I went, there's a little casino, and if they'd sports bet you, I'd put $100 on Logano. Just like, if he wins, he wins. So next year, I got to go collect all my tickets. Oh, and he's number 22. Guess what he started the season at? 22-1.
There you go.
And another kicker, I'll tell you.
The word car is 22. So.
What's that?
The word car is 22.
Right. And like the year before with Larson and him getting saying the N-word and then getting fired. Okay, well, if you write Kyle Larson, you get 42. On Jackie Robinson Day, Kyle Larson used the N-word and got fired from the 42 car that he was driving. He went out on the nation and jumped in a sprint car, and that's another form of racing. And he won 42 races. And that Monday morning, NASCAR signed him back to a contract in the number 5 car.
There you go. All right, man. I appreciate it. Great research. Glad you're using the knowledge and using it well. Keep it up, friend.
In fact, did you take like 5 minutes and read through my stuff? Because that's.
I was just showing it all over the screen, but like I said, I got to get off the phone because I gotta get some. I have to run to the store before we have dinner. Otherwise, sweet lady's gonna have me for dinner. So.
I appreciate you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, man. Take care. All right. And for the record, you guys, somebody just chipped in $2.01 on a Cash App, $2.01. You guys, you know how Indianapolis is the only city that equals 201? The Raiders just picked up their 201st loss. their 201st loss in their home as a franchise in their home history. The Raiders just got their 201st regular season loss in franchise history at home. Indianapolis, the only 201 city in America. And we've been talking about all the 201 rituals in Indianapolis. And the Raiders also just became 20-22, like the year 2022, in the time they've been the Las Vegas Raiders. For the record, though, I thought that game was a little bit iffy. That stuff all stood out to me in a big way. Plus, Jeff Saturday had a good riddle to win in his debut with the Colts. There's actually more in my notes for the Colts, but the thing that kept me hesitant on that game is had Derek Carr won, he would have got his 60th career win. Indianapolis does equal 201, and it's hard to ignore that number when it comes up with that city. But another number that's consistent in Indianapolis is 60. Indianapolis equals 60 in the most pure. Carr could have got his 60th career win today. Instead, the Raiders get that 201st loss, so that's why I thought that game was a little bit iffy. So... but yeah, again, you know. And Jonathan Taylor came back this week. You might recall when Jonathan Taylor won in the Saturday game last year during Saturnalia and put the game away with 2:01 left on the clock. So, all right, you guys, I got to wrap it up. Like I said, I really do have to run to the store. We're out of garlic. We need garlic for tonight's dinner. And, again, just one more time before you guys get out of here. If you don't want to support the work, if you don't want to support the Patreon, don't worry. Yours truly is a very generous person. So I get on here and do this every single day for a decade straight. You can download the books for free. Just go to my website, GematriaEffectNews. If you scroll down, you'll see this picture. If you guys missed this video from earlier this year, you should watch that. It's pretty funny what happened. You know, my trolls, they don't even have the balls to put out their name or face on the camera, but they'll talk all this shit and put all this false stuff. Watch how yours truly shows up to a convention where he's way outnumbered and shuts the whole thing down. You should have seen how fast I cleared out this place full of losers. And I didn't feel bad about clearing it out either, because these people are what's wrong with the country. And for anyone who thinks I'm wrong about that, I'll tell you right now, point blank, you're wrong. These people were fucking losers. And that's why I went there and interrupted their whole shit, because what they're doing just needs to be stopped, you know. Where's a terrorist bomber when you need one? Oh yeah, they only exist in the fake media. But anyway, download the ebooks for free. It's right above the picture. And you can guys go back and find that video from that day, because it is still up on the tube, thankfully. They haven't taken that one down for hate speech yet, so... All right, that's it for now, True Seeker. Congrats to the winners. It's another glorious week. Always feel good about patting the True Seeker's pockets. Please don't be the next person in the comments who's like, give me some free picks then, and then I'll sign up. You guys, I don't want swine in the community. If you don't got $5 to sign up for Winning Knowledge, you don't belong there, you know. Winners stick with winners, and I'm trying to make more people winners. But anyhow, that's it for now, and until next time.